Hi everyone, this is Mr. Sunnyboy C. De La Cruz, a mathematics teacher from Arena Blanco National High School. And so today, I will be teaching you about quadratic equations and graphs. So to start with, we are going to have first a review of our past lessons. So we have factorization of quadratic expressions using a multiplication grid. So consider the expression x squared plus 8x plus 12. So we have there step 1. As you can see, we have x squared and we have 12. So in step 2, we are going to factor out x squared, which is x, with another x, and that we are going to factor out 12 such that when we add or subtract will give us the middle term, which is 8. So this will be followed by step 3, wherein we are going to add 2x plus 6x, that will give us 8x. So therefore, we can say using the multiplication grid, we can have the factors of x squared plus 8x plus 12 equals to x plus 2 times the quantity x plus 6. So let's take another example. So factor x squared minus 9x plus 14. So the first thing that we have to do is to factor out x squared, and that is x times x. And then we also have 14, which is equals to 1 times 14 or negative 1 times negative 14. Now, in the choice of our factoring, we have to consider the factors that will give us the middle term. So, which is negative 2 and negative 7. So, since they are having the same sign, and so we are going to add negative 2 with negative 7, and that will give us negative 9. So, therefore, our factor are the quantity x minus 2 and the quantity x minus 7. So the product of any number and 0 is equal to 0. Example, 2 times 0 is equals to 0. 0 times 8 is equals to 0. And negative 6 times 0 is equals to 0. 0 times negative 7 is equals to 0, etc. So similarly, if two factors p and q are such that p times q is equals to 0, then either p is equals to 0 or q is equals to 0, or both p and q are equal to 0. So a quadratic equation in one variable is a mathematical sentence of degree 2 that can be written in the following standard form. We have ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers and that a must not be equal to 0. So we actually restrict that our a must not be equal to 0, because in the event that a is equal to 0, it will make our equation having a degree of 1. So therefore, it is no longer quadratic. Now, we have ax squared. This is called the quadratic term. And then we have bx. This is the linear term. And c is considered to be the constant term. So when solving quadratic equations by factoring, solving quadratic equations means solving for the value of x that will make the equation true. For instance, we have x squared plus x equals to 30. So the solutions is x is equals to 5 and x is equals to negative 6. So this means that 5 and 6 satisfy the equation x squared plus x equals to 30. So let us check. When x is equals to 5, x squared plus x is equals to 30. So when we square 5 plus 5 equals to 30, so 5 square, it means to say that gives us 25 plus 5, and that is equals to 30. And so it makes our equation balanced or equal. So whenever x is equals to negative 6, x squared plus x is equals to 30. So negative 6 squared plus negative 6 is equals to 30. When we square negative 6, that gives us positive 36 minus 6, that gives us 30. And so it also makes our equation equal. The next one is the zero product property. What do I mean by this? If AB is equals to 0, then either A is equals to 0 or B is equals to 0. Or both A and B are equal to 0. If A product is 0, then either one of the factors is 0 or both factors are 0. Let's have the following steps. Step number 1. In solving quadratic equations by factoring, the first thing that we have to do is to transform the given quadratic equation into the standard form, which is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. That is if necessary. Number 2, we have to factor the equation completely. And then step number 3, we have to equate the factors to 0 and apply the zero product property by setting each factor of the quadratic expression equal to 0. And lastly, we have to solve for the unknown value. Example number 1. We have the quantity x minus 4 times the quantity x plus 3 equals to 0. So we equate both factors equals to 0. And so we will obtain x minus 4 equals to 0 or x plus 3 equals to 0. So if we transpose negative 4 to the right side, it will become x is equals to 4. And the other factor, which is x plus 3, we transpose positive 3 to the right side and it becomes negative 3. So both 4 and negative 3 are solutions of the original equation, which is the quantity of x minus 4 times the quantity x plus 3 equals to 0. Let's check whether our answer is correct. Let's take the value of x equals to 4. So when x is equals to 4, if we substitute it in our factors, we have 4 minus 4 times the quantity 4 plus 3. It gives us 4 minus 4 is 0 and 4 plus 3, that gives us 7. So 0 times 7 is equals to 0 and that makes our equation equal. Another value of x is negative 3. So when we substitute negative 3 into our equation, it gives us negative 3 minus 4 times the quantity negative 3 plus 3 equals to 0. And so negative 3 minus 4, they are like sign, and so we have to add. That gives us negative 7. So negative 3 plus 3, they are unlike sign, and so we have to subtract. Then thereby give us an output of 0. So negative 7 times 0 is equals to 0. And so the equation is balanced. Another example is example number 2. Solve x times the quantity 2x minus 9 equals to 0. So solution, we have x times the quantity 2x minus 9 equals to 0. We equate x equals to 0. And the other one is 2x minus 9 equals to 0. So for the first factor, we don't have to solve because it's already the value of x. So for the second factor, which is 2x minus 9, we have to transpose negative 9 to the right side and it becomes positive 9. We have to divide 2 to both sides, and so we will obtain the value of x equals to 9 all over 2 by applying the zero product property. So the solutions of these particular quadratic equations are 0 and 9 all over 2. Let's take another example. Solve x squared plus 5x plus 6. So since the equation is already in the standard form, that is the right hand side of the equation is already 0, then you may do the factoring right away. So x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. So if the leading coefficient is 1, we take the factors in the last term, which is 6. So what are the factors of 6? Such that when we add or subtract will give us positive 5x. So the factors of 6 are 2 and 3. So they are both positive, so that when we add 2 plus 3, it will give us a positive 5. So therefore, the complete factor of the quadratic equation x squared plus 5x plus 6 are the quantity x plus 2 times the quantity x plus 3. So therefore, by applying the zero product property, x plus 2 is equals to 0 or x plus 3 is equals to 0, the value of x is equals to negative 2, and the value of x sub 2 is equals to negative 3. So therefore, the solutions of this particular quadratic equation are negative 2 and negative 3. So if x is equals to negative 2, then we have to substitute it into our quadratic equation to find out whether the value of x equals to negative 2 is a solution to our given quadratic equation. So if we substitute that into our quadratic equation, that gives us negative 2 squared plus 5 times the quantity negative 2 plus 6 equals to 0. So we have negative 2 squared, that is 4. 5 times negative 2, that gives us negative 10 plus 6. So unlike sign, we subtract 10, take away 4, that gives us 6. We copy the sign of the larger number, which is negative 6. And we also have positive 6 here. So unlike sign, we have to subtract, and that gives us 0 equals to 0. So if x is equals to negative 3, then x squared plus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. So if we substitute the value of x, that gives us negative 3 squared plus 5 times the quantity negative 3 plus 6, that gives us positive 9 minus 15 plus 6 equals to 0. So therefore, we will have negative 6 plus 6 equals to 0. Let's take example number 4. We have to solve for x when x squared is equals to x plus 6. So the first thing that we have to do is to solve by factoring method, rewrite the first equation into the standard form. So x squared is equals to x plus 6. We will have to rewrite it into the standard form. So x here, we are going to transpose it to the left side. That becomes negative x. And positive 6, we transpose it to the left side, and that becomes negative 6. Now, since the leading coefficient of x squared is 1, we take the factors in the last term. So the factors of negative 6 are negative 3 and positive 2. So whenever we subtract, it will give us negative 1. So we apply the zero product property to obtain the value of x. So x minus 3 is equals to 0, or x plus 2 is equals to 0. Then x sub 1 is equals to 3, and the other one is x sub 2 is equals to negative 2. So therefore, we can say that the solutions are 3 and negative 2. Now, if we check whether our answer is correct, if x is equals to 3, then x squared is equals to x plus 6. So if we substitute the given value of x, which is 3, that is 3 squared is equals to 3 plus 6. So 3 squared, that means that is 3 times 3, and that gives us 9. And 3 plus 6 is equals to 9. So therefore, our equation is balanced. Now we take x is equals to negative 2. Then, when we substitute the value of x, which is equals to negative 2, then that means to say that negative 2 squared is equals to negative 2 plus 6, and that gives us positive 4. Negative 2 plus 6, that gives us equals to 4. And so again, our equation is balanced. Let's take example number 5. Solve x squared minus 8x equals to negative 6. So again, the equation is not in the standard form, so we have to rewrite the equation into the standard form. So x squared minus 8x equals to negative 16. We transpose negative 16 to the left side, and that becomes positive 16. So using the addition property of equality, so we will have x squared minus 8x plus 16. That gives us the factors x minus 4 times the quantity x minus 4. And then we apply the zero product property, and that gives us x minus 4 equals to 0 and x minus 4 equals to 0. Now, our x sub 1 is equals to positive 4, and our x sub 2 is equals to positive 4. There you have it, my dear students. If you have any questions, feel free to ask questions. Just comment down below in our comment section, and I will try my very best to answer all of them in my next presentation. This has been your teacher Sunny saying, every teaching is a blessing. Until next time,